So here's what I wanted to make a video about today. It's how do you actually buy these cell phones? What should you look out for? How to avoid getting scammed when you're buying any phone off eBay offline that isn't a United States version of the phone, right? And it isn't coming from a replicable, an actual known manufacturer. That's what I'm trying to say, right? Because a lot of times when it comes to these phones that are strictly sold in China or strictly sold in some remote area, they often kind of get scalped up and then sold on third-party websites, whether that is eBay or wherever, right? And the issue is, as a buyer, you don't really have a guarantee of there isn't going to be a problem or you aren't going to get scammed in any way here, right? So let's go ahead and talk about this, because when the Fine and 5G came out from Oppo, I went on eBay right away and it was being posted for around $1,900. Now, of course, at a $1,300 MSRP, that's a tad bit overpriced, right? And that's just how it works. Whenever you are dealing with scalpers, it always happens. But there were some listings that, in all honesty, were a little fishy, which again were most likely scams. Now, for example, just a key tip here. When I bought my 3090 on launch, I bought it from a scalper. I paid $2,000 for it. It was selling for $1,500 MSRP. So it's very common, for scalpers to kind of bleed you dry. Now, we have only two listings of the Fine N2. We have a couple listings of the Fine Flip 2, but when it comes to the Fine N2, the phone that a lot of people want, there's only two listings on here right here. So we have this one right here, which is $1,495 to $1,795 price tag wise, depending on obviously the gigabyte option you get RAM wise, and also of course the storage option, and of course some other features too. And then the first option here is actually $1,924 to $2,300. So the second option is less of a scalper and more just a reseller. And the first one is absolutely a scalper. Now, the first one, of course, is coming in from someone in Canada versus someone in China. Now, just going to tell you this real key tip here. I buy rings from China all the time. China is a weird country to buy from when it comes to eBay. The reason why is because they go through the Chinese post. I ordered rings. I can get them anywhere from a week after I order them all the way up to 4 months after I order them. There's no real timetable on when an item's going to come in whenever you order it on eBay from China. So you can order this phone right now, right? This Fine N2. And you might not receive it until August of this year. Next year. Which I know is a little crazy, but that's what it is whenever you're buying internationally. You have a lot of delays that happen. Any type of issues when it comes to shipping, you're really the guy who's going to deal with it, right? So let's look at these two options we have right here. The Canada listing obviously is $1,900, so we're going to probably go for the Chinese listing. Now, the China listing doesn't look that bad overall wise. Both of these have stock photos. Now, what you're going to see a lot of times whenever you're trying to buy a phone, whether that is in, China or any other country that isn't yours, you're going to see a lot of stock photos. Now, stock photos does not mean 100% is a scam, but it can mean that, this might not be all that it's cracked out to be. Now, a lot of times they use stock photos, though, because they might be selling multiple versions of the same phone. So, for example, they might be selling like 20 or 30 Oppo Fine N2s, and that's why you see multiple of the same, crazy listing of you see the stock photos, right? So let's go ahead and talk about this one right here. This one is from China. And if we go ahead and look at it real fast, first thing we're going to do whenever we look at an eBay listing is we're going to look at the seller feedback, right? So 95.4% positive feedback. Okay, so not 100%, but he did sell he has 1,791 ratings. So let's go ahead and click on Hello World 2003. We can get a little bit of information about this person. First off, they sold 6,600 items, but they only have 1,700 feedback. So 4,000 items did not get feedback. That's interesting. The reason why I say it's interesting is because a lot of times Not saying that this person's a scammer in any way, but a lot of times different people who do scam on eBay, what they'll do is they'll buy a lot of small items, or they'll sell a lot of small items so that they can kind of, get that reputation up, so they can do that big scam, or they can start scamming, right? And I think some people also sell their eBay accounts. I don't think it's actually legal to do this, but some people sell their eBay accounts. So you might have someone who isn't a scammer, who actually is doing really good on eBay, and then they sell their eBay account to somebody else, and then that becomes, the scammer. YouTubers do this all the time. It's against YouTube terms of service to do this, but some people will sell their YouTube channels when they become successful, and like, I don't want to do YouTube anymore. They sell the channel. Somebody else takes over the channel. They could be a wholesome person that just wants to make content, or they could be a scammer. So let's go ahead and look at this. So they do have some items for sale, right? So we're just taking a look at this person's page. Okay, not bad. They got some foldable phones. They got the Huawei Mate right there. They got some other folds. They got some laptops, some looks like some flippable phones. Nothing too crazy. Now, when we look at the feedback, we have 72 positive and 3 negative in the last 12 months. Now, eBay does not let you go back past 12 months, sadly, so we can't really see too far back. But the 3 that we have right here, they're not really too much of a problem. One person is complaining about the fact that that this seller did not help them set up the phone, because obviously, yes, when you buy this phone, everything's going to be in Chinese. The second one was that there was issues with the actual phone, meaning that not the product was an issue, that the person did not like the fact that the Oppo did not do the phone in the way they wanted them to do the phone. Or not Oppo, sorry. Huawei did not do the phone in the way they wanted them to do the phone. And then the last one right here was eBay won't mail me the item. They apparently said they wouldn't mail them the item, and that they had to get a refund, and they wouldn't issue a refund. Again, like I said, this is why, again, when you buy anything on eBay from a Chinese seller, it could be anywhere from a week to 8 months, and you kind of can't rush those things. It kind of sucks, but you're dealing with a country who is shipping out these products, and they work on their own schedule. So that's not a problem. So the 3 we have right here, negative, is actually not bad for Hello World 2003. Looks pretty okay, looks pretty decent overall wise. Now, again, like I said, usually if it looks too good to be true, usually it is too good to be true. I believe the MSRP on the Oppo Find N2 is only maybe $1,100-$1,200. So this is actually not too crazy when it comes to price tag wise. It says 2 are available and 3 have sold. We go ahead and look at the 3 that is sold. We can see right here, okay, so 17, 15, 15. They sold recently. They actually sold literally today, this morning, and the other 2 sold on the 23rd and the 20th. So they're very recent sales. Price does not include postage, obviously, and obviously, yes, we cannot see the usernames because they don't want us to go ahead and track and those people down. So overall wise, does not look bad. Next thing you got to look at, right? Because now we kind of fact check the seller, see how good the seller is, if the seller is a scammer or not. We know that this seller might not be perfect, but it looks like for the most part he's okay. Again, like I said, he's selling 5 of these. So stock photos is pretty common. Also, whenever you have multiple different options of a phone, a lot of times people will use stock photos because you kind of you can only do 12 photos on eBay. So you're not going to do 12 photos of each option, right? So we have the 12 gigabyte, 256 gigabyte option, and the 16 gigabyte RAM and 512 gigabyte option. And then we have the colors right here, and then we have the models right here. Now, there are 2 different models. This comes with any Oppo phone. Most Chinese phones you see out there, you're going to see these 2 options. If you don't see these 2 options, you're probably going to want to avoid them. The reason why is because you have to install this stuff yourself then, and it's really a hassle to do so. So the 2 options is original Chinese version. This is going to be without Google, without the Play Store, without any applications. Everything that you know and love on your Samsung phones, on your Android phones in America, you're not going to get out of this phone. And a lot of times it almost becomes impossible to do certain things without these applications. So keep in mind that's going to be a little thing. It's not, it looks like it doesn't increase the price tag at all, which is actually pretty nice too. But you can see right here, what really increased the price tag is the gigabyte option, 12 versus 16. And then obviously the different colors. It looks like the colors are also charging more for. So obviously they have less of one color version. They're gonna charge more or less for that certain color version. So overall, it does look like it checks out. Doesn't look like there's many problems with this Oppo Find N2. Again, keep in mind though, you might wait and you might get it in like 6 months from now if you were from China. So right here we actually have what we would call, again, like I said, most likely a reseller. This is a scalper, right? This is a person that bought this phone probably for $1,200 and now they're reselling it for way more money. So you actually do have different options. So you have the 12 gigabyte 256 option and the 16 512 option. And right here, okay, so there we go. So they're selling the second option, which I believe is $1,500 or $1,300 MSRP. They're selling it for $2,300. So this is what you call a scalper. Now, obviously, they have different versions. So, for example, it says last one. Obviously, depending on what version you get, what model you get, you're gonna have to charge. You got to pay different prices, right? So let's look at the feedback of this person, because they also have 95.5% feedback, which is kind of interesting. So you can see right here, just like our other seller, they're selling a lot of the same products. They're actually selling a lot of phones. This guy's actually also selling a 4-inch flexible AMOLED watch, which I kind of just got interested in looking at. Okay, so it's like a knockoff Apple Watch. Interesting. Anyway, though, yeah, so they're selling a lot of products too. And we can see right up here, they sold 1.1 thousand items, right? So they sell 1,100 items. Let's look at the feedback. We have 2 negative feedback, 42 positive feedback. This item is greatly overpriced, interior, blah, blah. So just complaining about the price tag of the product. They're a scalper. That's just how they work, okay? Scalpers scalp. They overprice things. They ruin the market. They ruin it for everybody. But that's just how they make their money, right? Now, key tip here, right? You see how all those listings... Now, this person only has... Actually, let me see. Did this person have 200 feedback? I thought this person had more than 200 feedback. Oh, they only have 212 feedback. I thought they had more. But keep in mind how they have 1,000 items sold, but only 212 feedback. A lot of times what happens is, again, like I said, they're probably selling small, meaningless items to get their sales up. And a lot of times they don't get feedback because of small, meaningless items, right? So that's what a lot of times people do. Nonetheless, though, 212 feedback, not the greatest. I mean, don't get me wrong, that's still a lot, but it's not what we want to see if we're spending this much money on a scalp product, for that. So again, like I said, not bad. I'm not saying this person is a scammer by any imagination. I'm not saying either of these are scammers. I will say, though, for example, you can see how this person does not offer the option to have the that version, what's called the Google Play Store and all that stuff installed on this device. We can go down and look to see if he has anything about this. If he is actually, let's see what we got here. This is the promo. No, this is Oppo's promo video. Let's see, this took Oppo's promo video. This one, by the way, says express worldwide 5 to 7 days shipping. Is now available languages. English is available. He actually does a really good job here of going through all the details. I actually do really like this. Not bad at all. Now, does he say that it comes with the Play Store and all that stuff installed? That, like I said before, is a huge problem here. Original Chinese version. So Google Play Store compatible. He doesn't say it's installed, though. He just says it's compatible, meaning you can install this with the Google Play Store, but he's not saying it's installed already, which you would have to do it yourself then. So this person, you would have to install it yourself. The Chinese seller, you could have them install it themselves. So again, like I said, it all depends on what you want to do and what you want to pay. Do you want to pay $700 more? You're going to get it faster. Is it more I don't think either seller is more higher reputation wise, but It's always up to you at the end of the day. Guys, tell me down below your thoughts and opinions. Hope this video did help you out. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.